I can't believe you guys. Like, it's Monday night. We never do this on Monday night. And you know why? Because I'm always watching The Bachelor on Monday night. That's my time.
Hello everyone and welcome to TechBuzzed, to your raw and slightly inebriated look into the world of technology. I'm Nick Smock.
I'm Ryan Spletzer.
Lucas Ritter.
And here we are, another week this year for another episode of TechBuzzed.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can tell, we're recording on Monday night and Ryan is quite upset.
I'm livid right now. Livid,
I tell you.
We're going to start things out with a few Q1 earnings, 2013 Q1 earnings. First of which we're going to talk about Apple.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of surprised by this. Apple's Q1 earnings were pretty insane.
Record quarter.
Yes,
Across
record
the board.
quarter. However, their stock in the last few weeks has plummeted.
Yes.
Like 10 to 15 points a day.
Because they didn't grow as much over last year, which is insane to me, that you have like the company that is making the most money out of like pretty much any American company right now.
Oh, yeah.
And their like stock is going down because of that. They have record quarters and are selling record numbers of devices in all of their categories, except for Macs, which are slightly down.
Yeah.
But compared to last year, but still, like, this is why I don't get investors. I mean, I get it. Like, investors like look for growth companies, and if your company's not growing year over year, they don't view that very highly, and they'll look somewhere else. So that was crazy. I just thought that was nuts.
They earned a metric load of money, though. Like,
Yeah, they did.
it was ridiculous. Like, I was... From
What
what
it-
everyone was
let's-
kind of saying
Let's get some official numbers
some
here,
actual
though.
Oh,
numbers
yeah.
here.
We should get the numbers up.
But
They
what-
had... I got it right here.
Okay. I didn't know you had it.
Let me just switch over here. They had $13.1 billion in profit on a $54.5 billion revenue.
Yeah.
And a record of 47.8 million iPhones sold.
So 13
$13 billion profit.
on 50.
$55 billion revenue.
That is like, that is pretty much like 20%.
Yeah.
That's
Well, that's because Apple prices their products super high compared to what they cost.
They have insane margins.
But also, like, their margins are better than that, but they spend a lot of money on R&D, too. Like,
R&D and
if you looked at...
advertising.
Oh, yeah. If you cut out all that, my God, it's ridiculous. But,
Yeah. Just the pure like operating profit. Yeah.
Device.
Yep. It's crazy.
Do we have a link for Google's earnings?
I thought I put one in there,
They're-
but
Because I'm looking for one right now. I didn't get
Uh-oh.
the numbers on that. And
well, I remember Google. What I remember about Google's earnings is that they had a much higher quarter than anybody anticipated that they would.
And-
But the thing is, they
Go ahead.
moved a ton of devices, but they just don't earn very much.
well,
off every
but
device.
they broke what people expected them to do.
that's true.
And I think Google will always do that because people see, and this is wrong, but people see Google as a product company.
yeah.
And I was actually talking to an investor friend of ours,
Yeah.
who works in the investment
Oh, Lord.
field, and he was asking me about this, and the reason that Google always breaks expectations is because Google is an advertising company. That's where they make all of their money.
That's their main cash cow.
And nobody really takes that into consideration.
Right.
They see Android, they see the Nexus phones, they see the Chromebooks, but they don't see the fact that they advertise everywhere and they have their own advertising service.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's where all their money comes from.
Yeah.
So
I have numbers, by the way. So
Okay,
they were
perfect.
up over versus Q versus Q4 last year. Wow. Okay. Versus. Wait. Let me think about this for a second. Yeah, Q4 2012 they had 14.4 billion compared to, in revenue compared to 10.5 billion in revenue in Q4 11. So they had like 4.5 additional billion dollars of revenue over year. Like that's pretty insane growth, you know?
Yeah.
That's like 33% growth.
Yeah.
Year over year. So that's awesome. And they said, I think Sergey Brin or who was it? Larry Page, I think.
Larry
said
Page probably,
that it was like most of it came from YouTube, advertising, and mobile, the mobile space.
Yeah.
So, or a lot, not most of it, but like a lot of the uptick came from those spaces, which was crazy. So,
But that's the thing is that's where the market's going. Like everyone's just selling ads on mobile phones because that's where people are. Like it makes sense. And since Google moved into the low price market, like they're just gaining so much share. It's ridiculous.
yeah. Meanwhile, their wholly owned company, Motorola Mobility, still lost $353 million in that quarter alone.
But at the same time, I don't know. I don't think that Google really cares if Motorola earns or loses money. I think that's more of a. I think they're going to use that almost more of a design and like almost a research arm of the company.
I think they care. I think they don't care if they lose money in the short term, but if this thing remains like 3 years from now still losing the way it is, something's got to give at some point. And you know, like Larry Page is just going to be like, okay.
Well, yeah, they're not just going to take the losses.
We're either
right.
I know they have like a firewall between the two companies, quote unquote, whatever they want to say that is, but like, they're either going to come in and really shake up Motorola and be like, yo, we are totally redoing your structure to make you more slim and streamlined, or we're just gonna actually swallow you whole, and bring you into this company, for real. So, we'll see what happens.
And I guess maybe the way I'm thinking is if they would make them more into a showing off, hey, this is what we can do, like what Intel does with their phones. Like they just come out with like this one phone, and it's just, hey, we can build this phone. We don't really care if we lose money on it. It's just to show what we can do. But Google really isn't doing that with Motorola yet. Like if they made it like the Nexus carrier the Nexus manufacturer, like one of the like primary Nexus manufacturers,
part of the Nexus program.
There's like almost like a like what Microsoft did with their Surface program.
But that's what they should do.
Yeah.
I honestly, like, if you're gonna own the company, you might as well utilize it.
Well, they already kind of are, but the thing is like they don't earn a ton of money off of their Nexus device.
But here's the question though, because I know this was brought up sometime after.
We bring this up every once in a while.
No, but it was brought up sometime after. No. Sometime they brought up this. It's not what you think.
Okay.
It's not what you think I'm going to talk about. That Motorola still has like things that they have
in the pipeline
that they're obliged to like finish before Google.
Yeah. I think we might
has
have
their way
this
with them
a few podcasts ago, and I so eloquently put it like they need to out the rest of their products before they can move on.
That's really what Motorola has to do before Google can really take advantage of them.
Which,
you know what I say? They just need to roofie them. Get it over with.
And with that, let's move on to our next topic.
Last week we talked about the Surface Pro, which we're all really excited about.
Yes. I guess I'll take this one and run.
Sure thing.
Well, I actually posted this because I was gonna order it, but then I realized I don't have $1,000 sitting around, and I'm just
well, quick before you continue. It comes out on February 9th, which is a week and a half away.
Yep.
Yeah, it's getting quite close.
Week and a half away. Yeah. So if you're looking for a great, like, full-fledged Windows tablet and you're willing to spend a little bit of money, that's the way to go.
Okay, because I guess I'm going to get into this real quick. It starts at $900, and that's just with the 64 gig version, which,
64 gigs? I don't know if I have.
But
that's
the
enough
thing
space.
Is, once you throw on, like, Office and full Windows, you're going to have, like, 30, 40 gigs left.
At least 45.
Dude, remember Windows
8 is a pretty small install file.
Dude.
And I can actually tell you how big the Office install file is right now.
Well, the only other problem is that when you buy it from the factory, unless you're going to go through and reformat your drive, Microsoft, it comes pre-installed with like some pretty hefty like security drives, which I never really understood them, to be honest.
They're
like
not.
security
They're
It's
backup.
like a backup partition.
You get the D drive essentially.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Which
It'll be like a 10 like
that's actually kind of a pain in the ass to partition out.
yeah, it is.
you have to
'cause
like go through and
I had to
reformat.
use you either have to reformat or you have to use third-party partition
Yeah.
software to remove it because I had an issue with that.
But don't you
Yeah.
guys remember when the Surface came out and everyone was complaining? It says this is 32 gigs and they only had like 20.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's
but,
I do too.
I know it's not a big deal like thinking of it on like an iPad or a Nexus device because you don't have quite as much stuff stored on the device. But like
Yeah.
when I think of Office, I think of storing like all those documents on device when I should be putting them in the cloud. But
That's what
You just don't.
Well, if you're using your Surface Pro with your Microsoft account, like everything's gonna kind of be synced
Yeah.
up.
that's true.
I kind of want to. Well, do you have anything else to add?
With
I'm sure you do.
SkyDrive.
Oh,
Because,
yeah, I
because
do,
I
but-
do want to talk about Office for a little bit because I have had now 2 weeks of use with Office 2013.
2013. Well,
yeah.
isn't it
I'll get
gorgeous?
into Office actually. I'm gonna lead into
Okay,
that in my
I'd like
kind
to
of
talk.
explanation
I'd like to
here.
talk
But,
about that for a minute.
Yeah, I was pretty excited about the Surface Pro release, but like at $1,000 with the keyboard for the very base model, and then
It's expensive.
once I would have gotten the 128 gig version because you're not going to be able to upgrade it after you buy it.
Right.
Um,
Do they have SD card support?
Yes. Well, I think it's micro SD actually, which is kind of
Well,
disappoints me,
I mean, but I have two 32 gig micro
Yeah,
SD cards.
It's
exactly.
better than nothing.
it's
Yeah.
it's a lot nicer than a lot of tablets, but
right.
mainly the leader in the market. But anyway,
Basically, if it's micro SD, I consider it SD because you can always get an adapter.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly,
It's like
exactly.
not a
and
big
also
deal.
it's going to come with the USB 3.0 port, which is really nice. It's going to come
Yeah.
with a micro HDMI port, I think. Don't quote me, but
I would assume.
But yeah,
at least,
it's got a lot of ports. It's a full-fledged laptop, but in a tablet form. Biggest problem is they're saying 4 to 5 hours battery life, which is all rumors because
Well,
on the
but it
Pro,
makes but it
yeah.
makes sense. But it makes sense.
It makes sense
because you're running
because-
full-fledged Windows
Yeah.
on essentially your laptop screen.
yeah, with an Ivy bridge, and it's got the nice thing is it's got a beautiful screen and it has I think that the pen controls worked with Wacom on it.
Ooh.
So it actually has very nice pen control. It comes with an included stylus.
That entices me.
That's
yeah.
pretty sweet.
Like they
As a
did some
tablet.
stuff with it that's really nice because it's like you think of Bill Gates and you think of his tablet PC where he's walking around.
yeah.
Steve Ballmer with his Microsoft Surface table.
Steve Ballmer has an awesome Windows 8.
He has a
thing in his-
72-inch
he's
like,
got, his
Windows
wall
8.
is
Yeah,
Windows 8, but anyway,
he's so
beside the
cool.
point.
Not that I want to sound like I'm complaining, or which I'm not complaining about this, but I guess the fact that it has only a 5-hour battery life might be the one thing that
yeah,
Turns you off.
turns me like that makes it so that I actually don't want that device anymore.
You know what? You know what turns me off more than that, like a small battery, is the fact that like you can get a dock with it, but the dock doesn't have its
Yeah.
own battery.
It does. It's
That's
not,
what kills me because like okay,
Yeah.
It's not like the Asus.
the Asus Transformer Prime was a tablet with a mediocre battery. It was like 6 to 7 hours, maybe 8.
Yeah.
But then the dock, you could buy the keyboard dock for an extra $150,
Right.
and it would add another like 3 hours of battery
Yeah,
life
which is
because
a
it had an
great idea.
external like battery. So
Yeah.
it's like you know. It's worth it to pay $150 extra because you're getting another 3 hours of battery life and you're getting a full-fledged chiclet keyboard.
Right. That would make it worth it. See, I understand why it only has a 5-hour
Yeah.
battery life, but that being said, it is
Why
probably
don't they have the accessories out there to make it?
that
Yes.
that and then why am I just not waiting until 2 or 3 months down the road or 4 months down the road when they come out with,
when Asus comes out with
or
one.
or even when Asus comes out with one, or Microsoft refreshes their own hardware
Right.
again and they have a new Surface Pro 2 or
Yep.
something that
because you're gonna
has a better battery or attachable thing.
you're gonna think that Asus is going to just use the same tech from their Transformer
Well,
Prime.
I think they actually already
upgrade
do is the
upgrade
thing.
the tablet and just keep the
with
dock.
their Vivo tab.
That would be pretty cool, actually. I'd be into that.
Right.
But anyway, like I'm gonna keep going on here, and then so today I bought a Surface RT.
All right.
Because I found it on eBay. I paid a little bit more than I wanted to, but I got it for right at $500 with the type cover, so it's not the like touch cover.
It's the chiclet
actual
keys,
keyboard that has a little bit of travel. It's as much as you can get out of a tiny keyboard. But I got that because it comes with Office, where with the Pro you actually have to buy Office separate.
I think that's so stupid.
It's really dumb.
You're spending that much more money,
and they don't throw in
and
their
they're
own
not giving
software.
you. They're not giving you like what, an $80 piece of software.
Yeah. But like I'm getting that because it comes with my Office, which is what I want to use it for at school. Like I just want something that's
that would probably be the perfect school companion.
Oh, for sure.
like if it had more support in the marketplace, I would have bought it months ago. But that's my only fear, is just the app issue isn't quite there yet for me. But other than that, like Mary Jo Foley, I was listening to Windows Weekly, and she was just talking, because they asked her, are you going to be one of those people that just drop their Surface RTs and go out and buy the Surface Pro? She's just like, well, I just use it kind of as my laptop companion. I don't use it as a laptop.
Yeah,
it's a tablet.
Yes.
I mean, she uses it as a tablet.
She uses it as a tablet.
She writes all of her articles in Notepad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
doubt that.
exactly.
No. She said that.
She does. Yeah, she does.
Oh, for real.
She writes everything in Notepad.
Yep.
Does she is it like rich text formatting? Like
No, it's
Windows Notepad.
It's like plain text.
Stock
Yeah.
Windows Notepad.
Yeah.
She doesn't use plus or anything like that.
It's Notepad. Plain
Props.
text. Yeah.
Props.
But yeah, like she made a really good argument in that, because that's the thing is I have a laptop. I just don't like lugging around because it's big. But it'll do anything I ask it. I have a desktop at home.
Right.
Like,
yeah, that's true.
I don't know, and I just saved $500, and I can. That means I don't have to spend $500 I don't have.
Correct me if I'm wrong. With SkyDrive, you can kind of have a lot of that stuff up in the cloud without actually having it on your computer.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
I would like to interject here now.
Yeah.
And this is where I was going to start leading in with Nick with Office.
I obtained a legal.
That's a
legal, not illegal, but a legal copy of Microsoft Office 2013 Professional Plus. Mm-hmm. And I have been using it for the last few weeks, and I have to say I love it.
Oh yeah, it's
because I do not use my live account at all. The only thing I use it for now is Office. Like, I just have it, and that's it. I am a Gmail user, and I forever will be a Gmail user. But I don't keep any files locally on my hard drive anymore. Yeah. I use SkyDrive for everything, because I was actually thinking about this today when I was like submitting a document as a homework assignment, and like I use the SkyDrive app, so like it saves like an offline version of my file, which is essentially just like read only. And I was thinking about it today. Like when I'm on my laptop, I'm never anywhere where I don't have Wi-Fi.
That's
so
true.
I don't have access to like my SkyDrive account.
That makes sense. And that kind of reminds me of like a dream I had a few years ago where I was like, man, I want like Google Docs where
that's what I was getting to.
Like a Google Docs
desktop client,
basically that the minute I save something, it's up there.
Yeah, that's
like
that's
I'm
kind of what I was getting
locally,
to. Yeah.
But it's up there.
That's what I was getting to. Is that like
that fills that spot?
I have
SkyDrive really fills that.
That was my point. Is like I have this full featured desktop client that I can edit documents in and do everything that Microsoft Office does, but then I have the functionality of Google Drive where if I need to make a correction on the fly, if I'm not on my laptop, I can bust it open in SkyDrive, throw my correction in, and be on my way. I love it. It is Google Drive on crack.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
So I definitely recommend whoever has Microsoft Office, when 2013 goes public, get it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to love it.
It's basically public right now. It's just labeled as a
beta. Yeah, but I mean
preview or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyone
Not
can
to
get
mention
it,
the design language is so much better.
Yes.
In Office 2013, like the ribbon is like really
it's perfect.
Flat and matte.
They
and
metroed it.
they metroized it, and it looks great.
It's beautiful.
It's the way I want Office to look, you know.
Yep.
I'm on it right now, and I love it.
So do we want to talk about THQ next?
Let's talk about Nokia.
No,
quick.
Well,
I'm skipping over it because I really don't care.
You don't want to talk about Nokia?
Lucas messaged me, and he's like,
I just kind of threw it up on Facebook because
It's
it's
kinda-
not that big a deal.
Nokia makes the
Short
prettiest.
version.
Here's a quick thing. Nokia
Yeah.
makes the prettiest phones in the world, and no one can ever make a phone like Nokia does. But yet you've never heard of anyone who owns a Nokia phone. They're coming out with a Windows Preview phone, and it's going to be sweet, and it has a 14-megapixel camera in it.
They're
That's
also coming
all
out with
you
the
need to know.
920 version for Verizon.
For
And no one
And
knows what that means.
Yeah, no one knows what it means. Well, I don't know. My sister was actually interested in getting one of the Lumias, but
It wasn't.
we're not on AT&T.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
well, now that we're talking about Nokia's and kind of jumping off of that Windows Phone 8, let's jump
Yeah.
down to story number 5 because
exactly.
Yeah,
this
sure.
actually fits in pretty well.
Yes.
No, Windows Phone 8 is going to, in the next month or so or a couple months, going to implement CardDAV and CalDAV support, which basically means that you're going to be able to sync your Gmail account, both, you know, contacts and mail through IMAP and calendars through CalDAV,
Which is, oh my God.
which is great because
Yeah.
because ever since they made that announcement, ever since Google made that announcement that they're dropping Exchange Active Sync
Yes.
for Gmail,
Yeah.
it immediately made Windows Phone 8 a non-starter.
You know
for
what?
me.
You know what though?
I
Like
mean?
they dropped that, and it kind of pissed me off because through the school that I go to, like
Yeah.
they use Exchange Active Sync, which I am wholeheartedly against.
Yeah,
But
A lot of people use Exchange.
but which I
Yeah.
understand. But if I had the choice, there's no way in hell I would.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But since I have to use it, I was able to forward all of my school emails to my personal email account because it was such a
Gmail.
pain in the ass to like, you know, have these two different email inboxes and like have to check them both at the same time, and then have to like, you know, send my email out from, you know, my school address and then have to wait, and
Yeah.
you know, it was just annoying. So Gmail had that Active Sync Exchange account or like support. So I just like typed in my email address and my password. It said, "Is this your mail server?" I said, "Yep." And then all of a sudden my school emails were coming into my personal Gmail account, and I could just send people emails from my personal Gmail, but it was sending as my school address. So I just had a unified inbox, and I could, and it was all on my
Yeah.
phone, and it was all on my tablet, and it was on my laptop and my desktop. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But now I don't have that anymore. And now I had to go because it was kind of ticking me off. Every time I logged into Gmail, it was like, could not access your school email address.
Yeah.
Try to fix it. And I'm like, you don't have support for it
Yeah,
anymore.
it's
Like, just get
gone.
rid of it.
Right. I mean, it basically, when I heard that happened, like I was just immediately like, well, I could not get a Windows 8
Yeah,
phone.
exactly.
A Windows Phone 8
Yeah.
phone. Because I absolutely, and I was telling Lucas this about this the other night. At a certain point, back, you know, when I was in high school or late high school, early college or whatever, I made the decision like my stuff is going to be in Google.
Right.
Like my email, my calendar, my contacts are going to be in Google. Not so much of the fact that it was Google, but more so for the fact that I needed to pick a service that hosts all of my data.
Yeah, it's unified.
Yeah, so it's unified. It's in one place, and then I'll go to that service and pull from that service on whatever device I need it from.
Right.
But basically being the responsible person, so I didn't have to make one of those f***ing stupid Facebook event things where I lost my phone. I need all my contacts again.
Yeah,
Send them to me. So I didn't have to look like that idiot ever again, and just make sure all my stuff was synced.
You know what? You know what annoys me though about this was a little off topic, but people still make those groups, and I know for a fact that they have like an Android phone.
That pisses
And
me
it's
off
just
to
like
no
it's like,
end.
what the is wrong with you people? Like, do not make a Facebook group that says I lost all my contacts when I know full well that you have an Android phone and all your damn contacts are synced to your Google account.
Right.
I think a lot of people do it just for more numbers.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's weird. You're weird, people.
Yeah. So, anyways, I picked Google to be my like repository of my stuff like back in the day, and immediately when I saw that I couldn't get at that with Exchange Active Sync on Windows 8 or with any method, I was just like, well, I can't use a Windows 8 phone,
right?
Now. But now that they're getting these CardDAV and CalDAV support for contacts and calendar, and then IMAP for email, it makes it possible again.
Now the question is, are they going to have? They're going to have like native clients, right?
For Windows Phone 8?
Yeah.
Like a Gmail client?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so it's still going to be a pain in the ass.
It's
because you're going to have to like export and import.
Well, it's going to be set up. It's using the IMAP protocol.
Oh,
so,
okay.
I mean,
but your contacts though won't.
No. Well, your contacts are synced through those protocols.
That's true. That's right.
So when you add one in one place, it gets synced back to the other, and vice versa. So, yeah. I just thought that was cool. I'm glad that Microsoft stepped up and said, "Hey, we're going to put this in," and we realize a lot of people use Google Gmail and Calendar and all this stuff.
That's
from Google,
true.
So we're going to put this in. Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's talk about THQ for a second.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to say something.
I want to talk about this too. So yeah, I'm
gonna say something really quick, and then Lucas, you can kind of run off.
I don't have a ton to talk about.
So THQ is a like a video game production company. They're a dev studio. They released some pretty good games.
Yeah,
some really good games. They went bankrupt recently. And then immediately after they went bankrupt, I bought every single one of their games for like $70, along with all the DLC. It was like probably $350 to $400 worth of games and DLC that I got for like $70. And thank you THQ for going bankrupt. I wish more companies would.
Aww. No, what I'll say is like with THQ, they made some really good games and they made some really bad games. And I think that's their problem. They weren't big enough.
Yeah.
And video games have become such a big money business that they couldn't keep up.
So what we're talking about though is THQ went bankrupt and they were still working on stuff.
Yeah.
Like when they went bankrupt, which wouldn't make sense. So they basically broke apart their assets and were sold off to different companies. And so they had like their independent development studios that are not under like THQ's name. They're under their own name. So I'm going to kind of go through this list here. The company Relic, they were responsible for games like Warhammer 40K and Company of Heroes, which are both huge games from like the last 10 years.
Yep.
Sega, which... where did that come from? Is buying them, and
that is weird.
Sega, as everyone probably knows, is being a console creator. They are now just a development company.
Mm-hmm.
Crytech, the company that makes the game Crysis, which literally benchmarks every gaming computer ever.
Crytek was like the beginning of the rebirth of PC gaming.
Yes, they're buying the Homefront franchise, which I didn't know there was an actual franchise. I thought there was just one game. Isn't it just Homefront?
Yeah, but they're
gonna make them. So
it's a series.
Here's the thing, I played like half of Homefront.
I really liked Homefront, but I got bored.
I
think it had good track value.
It was a cool game, but there were so many like what they would call features that should never have been features. Ubisoft, huge game development company. They're buying THQ Montreal, which is actually in charge of making the new South Park game.
Yeah. Those are actually pretty good games, though.
And actually, like, a lot of really good games came out of THQ Montreal.
No, like, you'd be amazed. Like, the South Park games aren't bad. Like, yes, they could be, like, tower defense games, but they're still fun.
Take-Two buying the Evolve assets. No one really cares about that. But, honest to God, I think this is, like, the biggest one is that Koch Media, of all of the companies that are listed here, they're buying Volition, and Volition is probably like
the most
one.
valuable at the moment.
It really is, and it's kind of like the longest standing of all these like assets that THQ owns. Like Volition made some really good games back in the day. Like they're more famous for Saints Row.
Yeah.
But like Volition used to make some good games.
Well, and like right now, I'm on Steam right now, just looking at the games from publishers. It's home publishers, THQ Group, and it's like Saints Row, Warhammer 40K Space Marine, Red Faction, Homefront, Darksiders, Metro 2033, which they're making another one of those, a new Metro, which looks pretty sweet.
I played Metro 2033. I wasn't that big of a fan.
I wasn't that big.
I haven't played enough of it.
I haven't played enough of it either.
I haven't played enough of it to like make my final decision, but like the first like 20 minutes of the game really.
But
sucked.
it's a well-known game. Then they made the Stalker series, but that studio actually went out of business, which was kind of sad. But
Stalker's game. The Stalker series was good.
Yeah, but like those are just some of their top games on here. I just
want Saints Row the 4th, because Saints Row the 3rd was so much fun.
It's so much fun running around and hitting people with dildos.
Yeah, exactly. Like I hate the GTA series because like
they tried to take themselves. They're so
they're too serious about it. Like you are in a sandbox game where you can do almost whatever you want. And like, you know, GTA was really good. Like it used to be really good. But then when Saints Row came out, I was just like, who cares about GTA anymore? Like I would just much rather like have a ridiculous storyline where like I could get hit with an RPG and survive, and I can run around and like beat hookers with like
I think there's positive
spiked baseball
series,
bats.
Like there is a place for GTA 5. That game does look pretty sweet.
Yeah, it looks pretty, but like I would just rather play.
I just had a lot of fun in Saints Row the 3rd. Ryan, that's another game I would recommend. But wait until it
I've
goes
heard
on
it's really
sale.
good. The thing with GTA is like, are they ever gonna fix its problems? Like GTA's, a lot of GTA's issues have existed since 3.
Yeah.
You know, like in terms of like the aiming scheme and just like.
Well, that's the issue with like a third-person sandbox game.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about Saints Row is they try to play like to that. Like this is what it is.
Still, I mean,
you're running around and swinging these things. You're shooting guns.
It's just as bad. I mean, it's just as bad, but they work it. Yeah, they work it. Like GTA does not work it as well as Saints Row does. But like you look at a game like the Fallout series.
Yeah.
More importantly, like Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and even like Oblivion and Skyrim, where you have this is going to sound weird, but you know, Oblivion and Skyrim are essentially, if you were to go the magic and the archery route, they're first-person shooters.
Yeah.
But they're also open world, and they handle it really well. You cannot have an open world third-person shooter. It just won't work.
Really? See, I don't know. I think nobody's pulled it off yet.
Well,
no one has Fallout.
Okay, that's kind of my point. I guess I should have rephrased that.
Yeah.
But.
So it just pains. Like I feel like the problems that the GTA series has, like it just tries to make up for in the fact that you can do more crazy shit in the next game than you could before.
Yeah, exactly.
And it keeps bringing me back in. I wind up playing it.
But it's easy to do that. That's the easy way out.
It's easy to do that and not fix your mechanics.
Right. I still have fun going in and just doing crazy, stupid things in GTA.
I do.
I love
too.
doing those in Saints Row.
I do too, yeah.
And can I say I'm super happy that like helicopters are back and stuff. In the new one.
I actually have a little like ridiculous story about Saints Row. I didn't know they had online support where you can just like free roam with people.
Oh god.
And so I decided just one day to start doing that. And I had like voice chat on with my headset, and I was just like with this dude who was probably like in his like 30s, and we were just running around, and there was like a bunch of like 12-year-olds in the same game that we were in. And so they were like in a clothing store, and we just kept stealing cars off the street and like piling them up in front of the door, so they were like locked in the store. And then they finally got out, and we were just standing there with the giant purple dildos with baseball hat handles, and we just like beat them up. And then we sat there and thought about like how immature we were to a bunch of 12-year-olds, and and I might have weeped after that. But
boy.
that's what I love about that
Yeah.
game. So
Yeah.
THQ, I'm glad that your assets were sold to good companies.
They're not gone though, are they?
Well, essentially they were dissolved.
THQ
So
itself is dead.
they're okay, so Crytek bought one of their studios. They're basically getting all the employees and all the rights to their games.
Yeah.
They're just splitting the company
Maybe
up.
I was wrong, but I was under the impression that they sold off almost all of their stuff, but they were still going to be a development company and do new things or something. Or was I wrong about that?
I don't know.
I
Find
guess
out.
I really didn't know that.
I don't know.
It wouldn't surprise me, but the
you
thing
know what I
is-
mean? They sold off all their assets to
Yeah.
get more cash so they could do more
so
things.
they can keep doing what they were doing.
Well, they basically just sold off everything then that they own.
Well, they pretty much did. And I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how you come back from that, from losing all your talented people to a lot of different companies, but
Yeah, I don't know. It's
I don't know. I don't really need to know.
Okay, well,
But
here we go.
okay.
It'll attempt to find buyers at a later date for the rest of their stuff. So yeah,
Oh,
they
so
are
they really
are
are
planning on just
Trying to just
selling
cash
off
out.
every bit of
Man,
THQ.
That's a bummer. Okay.
Yep. So their THQ is done. All right, let's move on because that was kind of rambled a
Hey,
bit.
but to the THQ Montreal folks, whoever is joining the Ubisoft Montreal team, you should find the guy there that designed the Far Cry 3 menus and just slap him in the face.
You know what?
Really hard.
Ubisoft Montreal used to be the best game development company ever because they came out with Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
They created Assassin's Creed, and then I did see the menus of Fallout for Far Cry 3, and I was just like,
They're so bad. They're so
hey,
bad.
you guys ready to talk about porn?
yes.
I mean, the internet is for porn, so
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Avenue Q?
no.
It's the best musical I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
Yes.
Ever? That's a
I
bold
hate.
statement.
You know what? I've seen Wicked.
Yeah.
I would rather listen to puppets talk about masturbating.
Okay.
So Twitter coming out with this thing called Vine, and it's essentially like looped video sharing via Twitter, and there's porn in it.
Yeah, I mean,
They got to be there's some porn videos that were like editors' picks in
hashtag porn.
hashtag porn. No, we can't say that.
What?
Pound porn.
Porn.
We have to clarify that. The hashtag is the entire thing. The pound sign
pound
and
is
the
just
word
it.
after
I get it.
We
Yeah.
explained that on
No,
what
I
was
know.
that, like Friday or Saturday? Saturday. We talked about that. Remember that argument we had with Laura?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, hashtag would be porn.
The hashtag pound
Vine
porn.
porn.
Pound porn. That's actually a subcategory of porn too, funny enough. Pound porn. But we won't get into that.
Yeah, well, so basically, like Twitter is getting into the video sharing business to where you can share these looped
I think it's
videos.
a great service for Twitter.
And I think it's, you know what, I don't think it's a bad thing.
It's cool. It's
But-
like the Instagram of videos.
Yeah, it's interesting, but they're trying to move ahead of people. But some editors' picks turned out to be erotic.
It's just
videos.
hilarious.
Or as The Verge would put it, hardcore pornography.
right.
Like, I don't know. I read a story on Giz, and I found it hilarious, which, Nick, you didn't like it because it's just typical Reddit. Or, I mean, typical
It's typical
Gizmodo.
link baiting,
Yeah, but it doesn't bother me too much.
while everyone else is typical masturbating.
I guess I don't understand how people can have such an issue with something that you have to purposely seek out
Yeah.
on a network
Yeah.
to see what, if you search Twitter for pound porn,
Yeah.
I mean, you can, for that hashtag.
Like they don't realize that there's porn elsewhere on the internet.
Yeah, like you're gonna find some stuff, some stuff that
Sure. That
you know.
hasn't passed the Twitter filters at the time.
right. I mean, and that's just the way the internet is.
Yeah.
And if you can't get that through your brain or understand that, I don't know, maybe you shouldn't be using the internet. Maybe you should go.
Back to 1970s.
Maybe you should go get a cassette tape recorder, a video player or video cassette recorder that records the cassettes, and then get your video that way.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, it's... I don't know.
I'm
I don't know
sorry.
why people are so worked up about it because, yes, there is
whatever.
porn on the
yeah,
internet.
it's whatever.
Like-
Honestly, it just pisses me off that people are making such a big deal out of it.
Yeah. But that's why
Yeah.
I like the article I was talking about, because literally the title is just, holy there's porn on the internet.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
just like,
it's
exactly.
It's true. Like, yeah, exactly. But it's whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
Fine. I hate it now. Let's talk about Star Wars.
Yes. Yes.
So, what do you guys think about J.J. Abrams directing the next Star Wars?
I think it is absolutely amazing. And I have been telling people that he should do this for the past 2 years. And I have gotten so many mixed messages from folks ranging from, oh, he's doing Star Trek. He'll never have time to do that. Oh, I don't know how I would feel about that. Really Lost in like Star Trek and then with Star Wars and
You had a pretty good crop.
I would
Star Wars and Star Trek the other day.
What's
From
that?
Photoshop where you...
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that
I
was
made a
great.
couple one.
I would
for
like
that post,
to quote Lucas
Yeah.
on J.J. Abrams directing Star Wars.
What?
And he asked me yesterday. This is all he asked.
Okay.
Are you ready for some big time lens flare in 2014?
Guess what? Guess
Or
what?
2015?
2015.
Let me drop some bombs on
I'm
you.
going to say, I'm excited for it, though.
Let me get
it's
my
gonna be
let me
amazing.
get my bomb shelter quick.
Okay. Lens flares in space happen. They're
Well,
real.
they sure do.
Like I think Star Wars would actually be made much better with a bunch of lens flares.
I just love
You know what I mean?
Are you on the Verge page right now?
Do you know what the one thing I thought when I saw those freaking prequels where
Oh,
all
God.
the effing where all of the effing lens flares if they were
I
just
just-
had those lens flares,
You know what I
those
thought
movies
of when
would
I
have been
saw
much
these
better.
prequels is where is George Lucas's sane pills, because he is clearly effed in the mind.
Yeah. Might I remind you that we don't have much to live up here.
Oh God,
For
no.
Star Wars.
In,
Like-
in terms of the last decade, yeah, we have nothing. We have nothing.
Basically, J.J. Abrams could get his 3-year-old to write the script, and it would be better than what George Lucas came up with.
Jar Jar Binks. That's
Yeah.
all I have
Are
to
you
say.
kidding- are you kidding me?
Are you on the Verge post though right now? I just love the header graphic.
The Verge
Post about
Star
J.J.
Trek
Abrams.
Wars into Photoshop.
No.
Oh.
Lucasfilms confirms that J.J. Abrams will direct the new Star Wars.
Oh, yeah,
I just
and they
love
put
the
lens-
header image. Just lens flares
Lens
all
flares
over the
on
place.
C-3PO. Yeah.
So
I'm pretty excited for this.
So
I'm
basically,
really happy with the Star Trek. What
this
it's
is
done with it.
this is going to be a new trilogy then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There will be a new trilogy.
And-
We're gonna have 7, 8, 9.
Yep.
Yep. And I couldn't be more excited. And
It is going to be exciting.
And like I think I mentioned this a few podcasts ago, like if you think Star Wars shouldn't be touched again, well, that's fine. You can think that, but if you want to know like who ruined Star Wars, it was George Lucas, like single.
He really
Yes,
did.
Yeah.
And Disney buying them was the best thing that could have probably ever to happen to that franchise. I'm not even kidding.
I will
because-
disagree with that. Just because
let me put it this way.
I have a problem with Disney as a
Who-
company, but
Who would you rather have bought them though?
I don't know. I really don't. But I have a problem with Disney as a
THQ.
company.
Okay, that's
THQ.
That's
yeah.
fine.
Crytech.
But at the same time,
you're right. There's
Disney-
really no one better to buy
Disney
them.
brought back the original writer for Empire
Yeah.
Strikes Back, who is working on this movie, and freaking J.J. Abrams.
Maybe I should rephrase that now that this has happened.
Yeah.
At the time, sure, did not want Disney to
Right.
buy them. However, knowing this information now,
Yeah.
it's a good thing. I'm excited to see the new Star Wars. But when Disney first bought,
Oh,
because I know in the podcast when we talked about it, I was against that, and I want to make sure that was known, that I am aware that I was against that. But they are making moves in the right direction.
I agree. And I'll say, when I first heard the news that Disney bought them, I was hopeful, but at the same time, I knew that whatever they made couldn't be any worse.
Right, than George Lucas.
than
yeah.
what they had put out already, than what Lucasfilm had made with the prequels.
I have some quick news that broke a couple hours ago.
Oh, okay.
There are some Apple rumors
Ooh.
that came out a few hours ago that there will be a 128 gig iPad in its new lineup.
Wow.
And
That's crazy.
9 to 5 Mac posted the possible back of the backplate of the device. I don't take this with a grain of salt. Because usually Apple leaks that happen this early in the game aren't true, but they're close to being true.
You know, it goes back to that. Remember when iPods, they had like 120 gig iPods and they started getting rid of them because nobody needed that much storage space? I feel like this is that same sort of thing. Like, not that I'm saying they're going to do this. What I'm saying is I don't think there's enough of a market or a group of people that needs a 128 gigabyte iPad that bad.
Right.
You know, like I just don't see the need for that.
But I could also see Apple just making it. Because there's nowhere else to go but up.
I could see Apple making it because they don't have people making good decisions at their company anymore.
Very true. That is very true.
Nobody. There's no like. Here's what pisses me off about Apple and their executive structure and the things they've been doing lately. Nobody's there anymore that says like no to anything. Like, no, this is dumb. We're not doing this.
I've
you know
probably said this 100 times on the show, but we are out. We are officially out of Jobsian Apple.
Right. And
this is like apparent now.
I feel like seriously, I feel like the marketing people and or like the ops people will just come to Tim Cook now, and he's just such a pushover.
Yeah, he really is.
They'll just be like, we want to do this, and he'll just be like, okay, sure, I'll call the suppliers and we'll get this lined up because he's a supply chain genius.
You've read the Steve Jobs biography, correct, by Walter Isaacson?
Yep.
So you know this story, but I'm going to tell this story to the listeners. When the iPod was first in production, before it was in production, the team working on the iPod brought Steve Jobs the first ever like fully functional iPod like development version, whatever you want to call it, and he said, this needs to be thinner, it needs to be smaller, and they said, we can't make it any smaller. And he goes, takes this one of a kind iPod, never been produced before, development version, and drops it in his fish tank. Points out the fact that there are air bubbles coming out of that, and he said, there's air in here, it can be smaller.
Yeah.
Tim Cook would just go, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yep.
We'll work with that. No. Steve Jobs. Oh, just read the biography by Walter Isaacson. Seriously, and you will know the true Steve Jobs and why
it is a great book.
Why Apple is the company it is today.
Well, I still think a lot of their decision making comes down to whatever Johnny Ive wants to do in design.
Not anymore.
A lot of it still, though. Like,
well, sure, because we're still in Ivesy and Apple.
I mean, I still feel like he drives a lot of like what the next
because it's like pre-existing, like it's pre-existing in the like ecosystem.
Like he'll be like, yeah, we're gonna make a new iPad and it'll look like this, but does he have a choice in terms of the marketing people saying like, oh yeah, we're gonna throw out a 128 gigabyte version of this, because that comes down to the marketing folks and whether or not they want to throw in a certain size drive and sell it at a certain price point. And I feel like those kind of marketing decisions are just like getting worse and worse. Like they just don't know what levels to produce things at, or like what people really want.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard to say because like people don't know what they want either. Actually, but I'm saying like they're not picking smart price points, or like they're not making smart decisions.
Well, I actually was listening to a very interesting story today on All Things Tech that developing countries like Vietnam and what was the other country they were talking about? Cambodia, maybe?
Yeah.
They're trying to get Apple to sell their products in these companies, or countries rather. And Apple's like, yeah, we will, but they're not going to be any less money than they are in China and in the US. Yeah. And like no one in these countries can afford it.
Right.
And it's like they have to make that decision whether they want to maybe make a cheaper product, maybe a lower quality product, and sell them to a market of, a couple 100 million, or just skip
Yeah.
out on that market altogether.
Which reminds me of the whole like cheaper iPhone rumor that's been floating
Yeah.
around. It seems like just a terrible enough idea that they'll do it.
They do it. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I think it's gonna be awful. That's gonna be a terrible, terrible decision for them. But they're gonna do it.
I think it's bad enough that how long they sold the 3GS.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's bad enough that they made the 3GS.
eh,
The 3GS was the 3G with video.
it was higher spec though too.
It had a better processor.
It had a better
so-
processor.
At what cost? $500.
That's what was back in the day, though.
And the
That was
fact
back in the-
and the fact that it was literally just a software upgrade. The 3G was a software upgrade away from being the 3GS with a little bit less processing power.
yeah.
But also, just think about this was what 2006,
No, it was later than that.
or no, it'd be
It was like
2007, 2008.
2008, 2009.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the
Yeah.
4 would have came out in 2010, the 4S in 2011, and the 5 in 2012, 2009.
But actually, I have while I was sitting in there listening to you guys talking about Apple and how they're passing through Jobsy and Apple, I was shocked today. I read a story once again, I guess, because I read trashy things, and they were praising the BlackBerry device as what a future Apple device
Z10?
would look like. Yes.
The Z10 looks like an old Apple device.
No.
Yes, it does.
Are you kidding me?
It looks like an iPhone 4.
It has. No, it doesn't.
It
Look
just
at
looks
the
like
render.
It just looks like a black slab to me. It doesn't look like anything.
But you notice how it's an extremely industrial design where they don't have any buttons on the front.
Yeah.
They just have the button on the side. They have the two metallic pieces on the top and bottom. It is all screen. Like, they're cutting back on bezel as much as they can.
Right.
And like, this is my biggest problem with Apple is, when was the last time they put a new design on their iPad?
On their iPad?
Yes.
Well,
Never.
They've just been making it thinner.
They made it-
Okay,
spec-wise,
hold
thinner and
on.
better.
You're going to tell me this doesn't look like an iPhone 4?
Yes, I'm going to.
How? If I put a little circle right there, that's an iPhone 4.
It doesn't have the wraparound of the iPhone 4.
Okay, so it doesn't have a 1mm
Also,
bezel.
look at the sides.
It still looks like an iPhone
No.
4.
And it has the textured back kind of bugs me, but
it just looks like every phone out there to me.
Exactly.
It's just
It's a rounded rectangle.
no, I disagree. with
It's
you.
a rounded rectangle.
But anyway,
Anyways. But
Let's. We got a tip for
yeah.
the day.
Yeah, we do have a tip.
We need to get more tips. We need to maybe
Yeah.
do a tip an episode or something. I think
I
that'd be
agree.
interesting.
I think
what
it'd be
tip
really
did
good.
we get today?
I have a tip. I was reading Reddit a few days ago, and someone posted that they were purchasing a book on the website Chegg, that's CHEGG.com. And they noticed something funny, so they checked it out in different browsers, and they checked it out in Firefox, Internet Explorer 8, which, why are you using Internet Explorer 8, and Chrome, which I can only assume is like Chrome 12 because he doesn't know how to update his browsers. And
If you're on an old version of Chrome, you are just
You have
trying.
some problems. You
yeah,
have some serious problems.
yeah, because I'm on 24 right now. But they were 3 different prices, like $76, $63, and $70.
Yeah.
So here's a tip for anyone who is purchasing airline tickets or really anything. Like Amazon, you shouldn't be worried about it.
Yeah.
But like smaller sites like this website Chegg, or especially since Ryan had brought this up, airline tickets.
Yeah.
You should always use private browsing in your browser. So if you use Firefox, it's as simple as Control-Shift-P. Holding Control and Shift down, pressing the P button, it'll bring up your private browsing menu, or private browser, where it doesn't save any cookies or anything like that.
Yep.
And you go to the airline site and you purchase it that way, as opposed to, maybe having your login information saved and being a little more convenient, but you might be able to save some money that way. Or if you're on Chrome, it's a Control-Shift-N, and on Internet Explorer, just stop using it and get a real.
It's Control-Shift-N as well.
Okay, well,
I believe. Don't quote me on that.
Or just use a real browser and get over it.
Get on Chrome.
But
or something.
tip 2 of the day: use Chrome or Firefox.
But actually, another thing, like, be sure to. I mean, I don't doubt that you would shut your window between sessions, but make sure you shut that window. Use a new window between sessions.
Yeah.
Because, we don't want you getting screwed.
But, yeah, this is a quick tip to save some money, or possibly not save some money, but prevent yourself from getting screwed out of some money. Just use private browsing when you're purchasing things. Like I said, Amazon, sites like Amazon and that, I never worry about. Those sites are going to have a constant price. They are reputable.
They're a lot more
in that in that sense. So there's our tip for the day. We're gonna try to do one every day, every episode from now on, because I think that's pretty interesting little topic. So you guys are gonna get some music, and we're gonna come back with the beer of the week. And we're back with the beer segment of the week. Hopefully you enjoyed that Kesha. I'm going to start this week out with a little Dogfish Head Brewing Company Namaste. It is a beer brewed with coriander, orange, and lemongrass. So they have a little description on the side of the bottle here, and it says, Namaste. The word kinda sorta means the spirit in me, recognizes and celebrates the spirit in you. Namaste. The beer kinda sorta means white ale, as in wheat and coriander, but also means dried orange slices and lemongrass. A refreshing, sessionable thing. Namaste. And I think that describes it pretty well. It's a really clean, earthy beer.
Yeah, I actually really like this.
Yeah, my first drink I wasn't a fan, but my second drink, I think this is like a great summer beer.
I get it. Like, I really get this now. Like, this is like. It's like, it kind of tastes like earthy. You're right, like earthy herbal, like lemon.
It's like a tea. It's like tea.
Yeah, it's like drinking tea, but it's beer. And I actually really like this because it's kind of like Namaste is kind of like, what does it mean? I don't know.
I know, like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It means the spirit in me, apparently.
All right.
So.
Yeah, no, it's a really good beer. It's definitely a summer beer, and I remember when I read the label, because I was at the beer store when we bought it, and it's very summery. What's in it? Is it like a lemon peel in it, or
lemongrass, orange peel, and coriander?
Yeah, and you can definitely taste it because I'm trying to describe the aftertaste to it, because in the very beginning it's a very summer beer, but then it doesn't. Like, our beers for the last couple of weeks...
It's an herbal aftertaste.
Okay, yeah. Because our beers the last couple of weeks, none of them have been very easy on our palates.
They've been real heavy.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that this beer could really put up a challenge to both mine and Ryan's beer, just because of it's something a little bit different than what we've been having.
Yeah.
This beer's really peaceful.
That's actually a really good explanation.
It calms me down.
You know what?
You know?
I think they picked the perfect name for it.
Yeah.
They really did. Yeah. And I have to say, not to judge a book by its cover, but I really did just pick this up because I love the label on it. It's like I wouldn't even say a human skeleton, but it's like a human skeleton with like the missing link head on it, like doing. He has a vestigial tail as well, if you notice.
Oh yeah.
And he's doing like the sun salute, like namaste, like when you do yoga.
Yeah.
And the only reason I know that is because you do that in P90X. But yeah, it's totally earthy, like really earthy, man.
Yeah.
I'm ready to just drink one and chill with my bros, man.
All right. Well, my beer's next, and I have a feeling this is going to be a complete shock just by reading the label. I haven't tried it yet. Compared to that first beer, it's like 12% alcohol, which
oh
wow.
But I'll let you continue.
I'm just reading the label off of it because, like I said, I haven't tried it yet. They describe it as a rich malty body with unique caramelized characters and hints of raisins, nuts, and figs.
It is really similar to the beer I brought last week.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say as good. Probably because I paid a lot of money.
That
for
guy
mine.
is intense.
And it's another one of the barrel-aged stouts, pretty much. They describe it as an ale, but
It's a barley wine.
a barley wine. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Last time I brought a barley wine, I
can
regretted
definitely taste the strength in that one. I taste all 12 of those percents.
Yep. It's a lot better than Bolt Cutter, though.
Oh, Bolt Cutter.
I like Bolt Cutter. I like this beer too.
Bolt Cutter did
Right.
me in.
You can taste all 12%, but I'm actually shocked. From Ryan's expression, I thought it was going to be a lot stronger. And also coming from this summer beer, I thought I was going to be like, oh my God. But, yeah.
I'm at a crossroads so far. I'm at a crossroads so far.
I'm going to try this one again real quick because it's interesting.
The only issue I have with it is because we had the serial killer last week.
Yeah, I know.
And it has now that you say raisin and fig, it has that right when it hits your palate, you have that kind of gross raisin flavor.
It's kind of like drinking trail mix.
But it's
With raisins in it.
But after that minute it hits your palate, or that nanosecond it hits your palate, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's something I could easily look over.
I'm definitely going to have to try it up next to the other beers later because I'm still not sure quite how I feel about it. But yeah, I guess Ryan, what'd you bring this week?
Okay. So I brought this beer that sounds pretty ominous, but it's really not as crazy as it sounds. I got it mostly for the name from Bell's Brewery, and it's called the Hell Hath No Fury Ale. And it's got a picture of a cartoon picture of I don't know, a middle-aged woman getting mad at a cartoon devil, getting I don't know,
I need to see this
something.
now.
It's really strange, but I'm gonna
Go ahead and take a taste quick. It sounds weird, but I really like the color pink that they use in the label.
And what is this called? This
looks like a Far Side comic.
Yeah, it does. It really does. And I forgot what style this is. It's like a doppel something.
Oh, American Doppel.
American Doppel, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a double. What do they call it? Like you have triples, Belgian triples, and Belgian doppels, and American doppels and American triples. It's just doppel ale or double ale.
Got it. So this one's I thought this one was kind of weird.
It's
you know
what? I need to
really,
take another drink
really
of it quick.
strange. Really strange. It really, the first time I tried this, I was like, "What is this?"
It has a really mute flavor to it. You know what I mean? It's really mute.
Yeah.
You get a taste of the hops in the barley in it, but it's nothing in it is overpowering.
Right.
It's just real flat.
Yeah.
And
At
not
the end of it,
carbonation.
especially.
Yeah, not carbonation
here.
flat, but it's just a flat tasting beer.
Well, especially at the back end, when it first hits you, you're like, "Oh, what is this?" And then you're just you
It just
get done
mellows
drinking
right
it,
out.
and you're just like, "Oh, huh." Yeah. So that's my beer, Hell Hath No Fury Ale.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, like you guys said, I'm really kind of confused by that beer.
It's weird.
Pass it back over here. I just like the description telling me to drink it if my dog died or my truck broke down or. I'm singing.
I don't get
song
it
in
though.
my head.
After drinking it, I don't get it.
I really don't understand this beer at all.
After drinking it, I don't get the description. Because if my dog died, I'd be drinking scotch. And not a scotch ale. Just scotch. Out of the bottle.
Okay, so. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
don't know what's going on right now.
I want to pick first this week.
If you. Yeah, go
Okay.
for it.
Because so far this year, I have yet to pick first. So.
Go for it.
This is going to take a while, though.
Are you still deliberating?
I'm deliberating between actually all three of them.
Yeah.
Because I have my
Because-
already.
This is
you do?
totally
Oh,
different than these two.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing with it. But even my beer and Ryan's beer are a lot different
They are,
too.
but at the same time, I don't know. I'm just gonna just do.
Well-
I'm gonna take one drink of each of them. I'm gonna take a nice slow tasting sip.
We're gonna take it slow with you, baby. That didn't work at all.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, I can't do it.
You want to hear something sexy?
Yeah.
That was good. Okay.
We could take a Vine video of you drinking
Yeah.
beer right now.
Well, Vine is only available for iOS.
Yeah.
And it's only available for porn.
You could just take off your clothes. I think our listeners would love that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, baby. We're on the late
You
night
got an iPad.
hour.
We can take a picture of you taking a video with your iPad.
Oh, that's right. It is on iPad. I could grab.
I'm not taking my clothes off.
Nick, have you ever shot a porn video with an iPad before?
Once.
Okay. Then you'll know what's about to happen.
This is tough because I'm used to like just kind of blurting and saying
This one's
what
out of
I'm
it.
Choosing.
This one's out of it. No offense, Ryan, but the Hell Hath No Fury is out of the question.
I get that.
We are all biased against Ryan because he's been just killing us this year.
I am. Yeah. No. I am now at both ends of the spectrum here.
Yeah, it's.
I have heavy barrel-aged beer.
Yeah.
Delicious, summery, herbal night namaste. The angel and the devil on my shoulders. Although Hell Hath No Fury should really be the devil on my shoulder. But out of context, we're just, All right, I have made my decision, but before I do that, I want to say something about, like, out of context. I was in a, I had a design class, like a 3-dimensional design class, and my professor really didn't know what out of context meant. And he was, like, using it for, like, a major project and would, like, be like, I need this to be out of context. And I was just like, what do you mean? And he's like, like, out of context. And I was like, no, I actually don't know what you're saying. Like, what do you mean out of context? And he would just, like, say, out of context. And he would just say that over and over again, and I never really understood what he meant because I realized he didn't know what out of context meant. But I made my decision, and I'm going with the Namaste this week. Namaste.
Okay.
Lucas, since Ryan has made his decision, Lucas.
I don't know what I'm gonna vote for right now, though.
Because are you guaranteed? You locked it in.
I absolutely
All
know
right,
what I'm voting
Lucas,
for.
you're up. You should, like, write it down somewhere and don't show it to us.
So that you know I didn't change my mind.
Yeah. Type it on your computer.
I'll start a new text document here.
I think we should do that from now on.
Yeah, because that would make like if we all just submitted it without telling each other for a second, and then we reviewed it after we had tallied the vote. Because that would take a lot of pressure off.
This would go faster.
That really would.
If
Yeah.
I had. Wait, what?
That if we typed.
We each described the beers, tasted them, but didn't. Like,
and here's the perfect way to do this. So we each taste our beers, describe them. We maybe go through a few times, taste them, and then you open up a notepad or a Word file or whatever, and you and instead of just like think about this. You have Hell Hath No Fury, Pilgrim's Dole, and Namaste. Like, it would be really easy to realize I'm typing Namaste and not Hell Hath No Fury.
Yeah.
So, like, you'd have to type, like, a whole sentence or something like that. Or just type, like, Namaste and then just, like, words after it.
or just type the first letter if we can do that.
That would also work, yeah.
Just to pretend to type a very long thing.
Yeah. We're going to do that next week.
I just typed mine down, so you see me. I'm not touching my computer anymore. So.
Yeah, but you're controlling it with your mind. Oculus Rift. All right, Lucas.
I'm sorry, guys. It's. Whew. I'm gonna say this actually. Like I'm starting to actually get my vote down here, but I don't think I could drink a full bottle of this Pilgrim's Dole. Like I would probably be hammered by the end of it.
Or you would definitely be feeling something.
Like I really like the smoothness of it, but at the end you can tell it's like that barley wine kind of like barrel aged flavor, and maybe I'm just getting sick of it. Because we've had a lot of beers like this.
We've been killing ourselves.
Killed your taste on that.
Yeah, you did.
I will say we've been killing ourselves with these really intense, like, dark
Well, and that's the thing is like
barrel-aged things recently.
I've been trying to stick with my. I was trying to get another winter in because I've been going with like the Lion Stout. I've been looking for more beers like that or like that Leinenkugels. Like those are two beers that were very heavy, but they were just they were really good. And right now it's I think exactly what I said before. Nick's just ruining myself.
Nick's listening to a voicemail and he's cracking up for some reason. I don't get what's going.
Get it on the microphone when you guys are ruining it.
I mean, we
I
can't
just got
ignore.
the drunkest call from my boss ever.
Oh Lord,
That's pretty cool.
But
from my brother.
it makes me sad. I'm gonna vote for the Namaste.
Oh, okay. I was gonna vote.
What a twist!
I was gonna vote for Namaste as well. There's my text document to prove it.
Okay.
So yeah, there we go.
All right.
Namaste, beer of the week. Now
Let's see if I can find another bottle of that for next week.
Yeah, right.
Because if I do, I'm just gonna buy like 3.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, so the beer of the week from last week that did not beat the lockdown, but went on to compete the next week because we retired the lockdown to the Hall of Fame was the Trey's Blueberry Stout by Dark Horse Brewing Company, and it's kind of not a super sweet beer,
Which makes it amazing.
Right, when you hear
good,
blueberry, you all of a sudden get worried, like, oh man, this is just going to be some
Sugary bullshit.
sugary, crazy stuff. But yeah, we're going to pit it up against the Namaste. So let's bring that guy around there.
Wait.
It's right there.
No, it's the one without the label.
Oh, wait. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one.
Right there.
Oh, it's right in front of me.
Oh
Jeez.
my.
Oh
my.
We are not naming this Oh My again.
Oh my, part 2.
Oh My part 2. Yeah.
I need another pickle now. Do you want another pickle? You want me?
I always want
You
more
want
pickles.
Ryan's pickles?
I do.
Oh man, that's still as good as I remember it. I've been drinking the blueberry stout for like the past year or two whenever I can get it.
Yeah.
It's been in various like East Lansing bars and stuff, and man, every time it just gets me.
The reason this is gonna sound really stupid, but I hate this beer because I hate blueberries, but I love it because I hate blueberries. And it tastes so good.
Oh man.
It's like this is the only thing with blueberries in it I will consume. It's so good. It's so
really
good that it makes blueberries good for me.
Yeah.
That guy is freaking good.
It is tasty.
It's a beer with no label.
Oh, it's got a label. That one just fell off
Yeah,
for
I
some
know.
reason. But who wants to vote first? Who would like to
do the
vote
type
first?
format.
Yeah, let's do the type format.
Oh, the
Where are we
typing
putting
format?
it?
I'm just a notepad or whatever.
So I'm still like trying to decide.
Okay.
Yeah, same here. Oh wait, why am I typing right now?
Do they? Yeah. I'm done.
Oof, man, yeah, I can't drink anymore. I ate way too
No
much
more?
for dinner.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to vote. Typing.
You guys are just obnoxious. You realize?
Typing.
Nick's
Okay.
Nick's like trying to make it look like he's writing a novel.
I have entered my vote into the computer.
Hal, tally votes.
I can't do that, Dave.
Oh, damn.
I'm sorry, Dave.
So, Lucas, what'd you vote for?
Blue.
Ryan, what'd you vote for?
Namaste.
Nick, what'd you vote for? I am voting for the Namaste beer because it is good and not full of blueberries.
Kim Jong-un. Brew Namaste. Best beer ever. In the Namaste words.
So, the Namaste is the beer of the week. It usurps Trace Blueberry Stout, which was like a 2-week runner or just 1 week?
Well, the 1 week.
It's-
It was just
It's kind of
beer.
1 week.
It was like the
Yeah.
1 week,
Yeah, okay.
basically.
So,
It was the by default beer of the week.
Namaste will be back next week
Ooh.
to duke it out.
All right.
But we do have a new member in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
The Lockdown Scotch Ale by Arcadia Brewings.
Yep.
It's up on the wall.
That's one thing is I'm not gonna lie. I have a feeling that this next week we're gonna have some very different beers. Just because.
When are we gonna do Scotch night?
Oh Lord.
Oh yeah. I'm down whenever.
Oh no.
That's going to need to be a night where we don't need to drive anywhere.
Yeah, where we can just crash after the podcast.
Because we're going to be drinking Scotch.
Right.
I'm trying to think what. We'll talk about it later.
Mm-hmm. Maybe the best option is to play it by ear and wait until a beer of the week enters the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
And then instead of that other beer moving on, we just have a Scotch night the next week.
Scotch night.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Also, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I just wanted to throw this out there because throughout the year we're going to have a lot of different beers, and some of them may be seasonal. We might not be able to find them again later. So what I was thinking, it's to kind of break up the year a little bit, was to have like quarterfinals after like Q1, like the best beers from Q1 face off in a quarterfinal round.
So like how many weeks?
So it would be like 3 months basically.
Yeah.
The best beers of the past 3 months face off, and then whatever one beer comes out of that. So that at the end of the year we have 4 beers facing off basically, one from each quarter.
And we make sure that we save that beer.
Yeah.
So we're looking at what? 3 months is 20.
It's like
no,
it's like
12 beers. 12 beers.
It's like 12ish beers, yeah, pretty much. 52 divided by
bad.
4.
We should you know what? I'm just gonna say this right now. We're idiots for not keeping a tally right now. What's been the beer of the week? Like, an ongoing document. Though.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of know. I mean, it's in the show notes and stuff.
Exactly.
I make sure it's in there, and I make sure if I have like, for example, I made sure to save a lockdown that is gonna be
right. Well, after the show, we'll concern ourselves with that.
Okay. But anyways,
other than that, though, you guys ready for some music?
No.
Too bad, because you're not getting any.
Damn.
Oh, well.
Wait, yay.
wait, we're not going to music. We're just closing it out.
I was just doing that again because I always do it every week.
Oh, okay.
It was a goof.
Gotcha.
So, my name. Well, let's start out this way. Thanks for listening to TechBuzzed. We really enjoy your support, and you should send us some emails. You can find me on Twitter at Nick_Smock.
You can find me on Twitter at Ryan Spletzer.
Just don't. I guess I'm Lucas Ritter, and you can find me on Twitter at DepressoIsCool. But why would you want to? So just don't.
Yeah, he doesn't post many cool things.
I'm not a very nice person.
But you know what he does post? Depresso.
Yeah.
TechBuzzed.com. That's where you can find our MP3 files. At the moment, I have worked on some more parts of our website today, and I have Ryan, how far would you say I am in terms of graphical assets to the website? I don't really have that much to go.
I don't know. I haven't really thought about that, but I mean, I feel like you're getting pretty close.
We're gonna we will have a website update next week. We will make sure it is in the show notes for next week, because we're gonna talk in depth about that before the show next week.
Cool.
How many times am I going to say next week? Next week.
Follow
TechBuzzed on Twitter for all of our Twitter updates, which there aren't very many, at TechBuzzed. Look on Facebook for us to not post anything on Facebook at facebook.com/TechBuzzed. You can email us at techbuzzpodcast@gmail.com, but you can also email techbuzzed@gmail.com and tell him to give us his goddamn email address. And you can watch video stills while listening to our soothing voices at youtube.com/techbuzzpodcast. That's it for the episode this week.
Find us on MySpace. Jay.
Find us on MySpace, because apparently we're there because Lucas controls that. And enjoy some more Kesha.
because I'm always watching The Bachelor on Monday night. That's my time.
And cut to music.
That could be it.
I think that's a good one.